What is going on, you chicken strips and you Nutella minions? This is Linux MLG making a return, a huge return to the YouTube scenario. And so what's going on here is I'm playing Ghost, of course, on Warhawk. Not going to talk much about the gameplay. That's all I'm going to tell you. I'm using the Remington. That's an addition that I was going to tell you. I was keeping it a secret though. But anyways, this might have started near the middle of the game just because I want to make it as short as possible so I can get it out to you guys as soon as possible. I don't know exactly when it'll be out. It'll either be out the 10th or the 11th, whatever. Okay, here we go. So as you can see by the title, there has been some roster changes, and I'm going to talk about what I think how the outcome of the team will end up being and future events, whatever. So we're going to start off with the fan favorite OpTic Gaming. Personally, one of my favorites, the favorite team out of the teams that drop people. Not an OpTic fanboy, just telling you. But anyways, from my previous videos, you might know that I'm a decent OpTic fan. You know, I like them. But anyways, they dropped JKap. Yes, I repeat, they did drop JKap. And they have not announced, quote unquote, officially picked up another player for their roster. Although there is a player I do have in mind, and I really think it would help them in the long run for future events if they were to pick up this person. And I'll say in the future, you might even know who I'm talking about, but I'll tell you later when I start talking about him or her. Yeah, okay, so anyways, JKap being dropped from OpTic, what I think about it is I just think he was dropped for skill. I don't think it was for anything more than that. OpTic has not been winning events, and to be honest, I thought JKap would be better, but he's kind of been a little bit worse than Merc actually being on the team. And they actually won their first online tournament in the longest time. It was only S&D, but they won it in the longest time with actually Ricky being on their team and JKap was still out. So I really don't think it was anything to do with just how JKap was, because JKap was, he fit with OpTic. His personality, everything was good with him, but just the skill wasn't there. JKap's kind of falling down. He's on a slope, you might say, because not a slope. He's on a slope downwards, but he's on a slump. Just all of his latest, rankings, EnvyUs getting 9th to 12th, then OpTic getting 9th to 12th, after losing Merc. Because keep in mind, when Merc was on the team, they got, what was it, third, fourth, third, second, fifth, whatever. They didn't ever really do bad with Merc. JKap comes on. It was their first event on the first game with JKap. Of course, you're not expecting much, but actually, I don't know if the end of Black Ops they had JKap too. But anyways, they never placed well with JKap. It was never a good placing. And so that just wasn't working out for them. So I do believe it was a smart move. I feel bad because I do like JKap, and I do wish him the best of luck to wherever he ends up being. And JKap TK, I think that would work. Next, since we're talking about TK, we'll go on to them. I am not sure. I don't think they dropped Goonjar. I think Goonjar just left, and that's probably because of EnvyUs, and I'll get to who they dropped. So it was probably because he had a great opportunity with Envy, which I can't blame him for leaving TK. To be honest, TK was a really good team, but as far as the future, EnvyUs and OpTic are the way to go always. If you get a chance to be on either one of those teams, you're gonna take it no matter what, because that's the long run picture. That's the future picture. Right here is just the now. Like what they're the championship winning teams, or the close to championship, the runner up teams, as in like TK, the championship teams of course is CompLexity. That's for right now. That's not gonna help you in the future. Just being brutally honest, it really isn't. So moving to Envy was a smart play. Now, will it help or kill Envy? I'll just go ahead and say it was Karma that was released. So, of course, when the best player, quote unquote, arguably, is dropped from a team, no matter who they pick up, it really based on the statistic of him being better and being dropped, there is no one better that you can pick up. So therefore, maybe not a bad player, but not as good as the best. So your ranking, I guess your ranking on paper will go down. Not necessarily the ranking that actually happens, because if you think about it, when Karma was put on Envy, everyone thought Envy was going to be the championship team, which it actually wasn't. When Karma left Farico, or Impact, sorry, and went to EnvyUs, he actually started placing worse, and that could have just been the mesh of this squad wasn't so good. So maybe that's why Karma left or got dropped. I know I should know if they got dropped or if they got kicked, but or I mean that's the same thing. If they dropped or if they left the team, I should know that. I'm sorry, but if you want, you could go just look on Twitter and it's all right there. So, anyways, how I think Envy might do. I don't think they'll do bad with Goonjar. He's not a bad player at all. He really is not a bad player. So, I don't think they'll do bad. Will they do better than when Karma was on the team? Time will tell. Next up, last roster change. CompLexity. Karma left EnvyUs to go to CompLexity. So what happened was TK Goonjar left to go to Envy. Envy dropped Karma, or Karma left. He went to CompLexity. CompLexity drops Clayster, and that might have been loud, I'm sorry. But anyways, they dropped Clayster. First of all, what I never got about when championship teams keep winning, or they win championships, why do you immediately change your roster right after? And I could tell you just about every single time, you know, it doesn't work out well for them. Let's think of all the times this happened. So if you think basketball, Michael Jordan wins every time he's on the team. Not every time, obviously. He wins 3 years in a row. He leaves to play baseball. That one year, they lose. Why? The roster changes. Michael Jordan gets put back on, same team, maybe a little different, not much. Michael Jordan, of course, the best player. It's, arguably he's what won them. Scottie Pippen helped, but they win 3 more years. Again, Unite, they win an event. Embos gets dropped. Why? Because they could get now, since they're a championship team, they gain a team ego, so they could drop their worst player and get a better player, right? How did that work out for them? Well, they didn't place first. Not sure what they placed, second or third, I think, at the next event. But then Unite fell apart. After the World Series 2005, Chicago White Sox win. Reppin' Chi City, yep. White Sox win. They do all these roster changes. Aaron Rowan isn't on the team anymore. Maglio Ordonez, Big T isn't always on there. And Big T isn't Frank Thomas, of course. And what happens? They haven't even gotten close to World Series since then. So you see all these roster changes after a championship team, and every time they make the roster change, they don't end up doing well. Now, of course, again, it's Karma, the best, quote unquote, the best player in the game, being next to Crimzix, which in my opinion is the best team player in the game. The difference is a different video, but Crimzix being the best team player in my opinion, being next to Karma, it seems better, right? But we'll have to see, because Clayster, to be honest, Clayster really brought that hype. I really think Clayster was a huge factor in the championship teams. Clayster was actually, in fact, dropped by he was dropped from what was it? Because he wasn't getting along with some of the teams and whatever. I'll read his message right now, actually, and I'll put it on the screen. So here I imagine Clayster would read this tweet. I'm really at a loss for words right now. I got called up by the squad in a Skype call after hearing all the rumors on Twitter. They told me that they had been discussing for a month or so about dropping me because of my friendships within the team. They said since I didn't hang out with them a lot at LANs, and due to me saying I disliked them occasionally as a complete joke, the only person I actually disliked was Pat, that I was being replaced. I don't see how it is my fault that I find it hard to be friends with people who are constantly putting me down, not giving me credit for making any plays, and constantly saying I was replaceable. I have no idea how this factors into the contract we have or anything like that. I won CompLexity championships, was hungry and determined to win. I've had one of the best attitudes about changing the game and staying ahead of the curve. It completely blows my mind that these immature children go as far as to drop me without even speaking to me and voicing their concerns. I find it incredibly rude and distasteful to be removed from a team in the manner that I just was. I'm still in disbelief right now. We've won 7 of the 8 past championships and they feel they need to make a change? I don't understand and never will. I'm incredibly thankful to CompLexity and all the guys over there that made this dream a reality, and I suppose it's time to move on to the next chapter in my life. Big shout out to the fans who will stick by me in this time of need. I haven't felt this way in a very, very, very long time.